Good afternoon. This is Kay with Kay and Tom, Around the House with Kay and Tom. This afternoon, I'm going to make some baked pork chops. I've had to wait for the storms to go on. We've had so many of them lately. So what you need is 4 pork chops. Good afternoon. I am going to make, this is Kay. Good afternoon. This is Around the House with Kay and Tom. I'm going to make some baked pork chops today that my sister gave us the recipe many years ago. So what we need is 4 pork chops. You need 4 cups of sliced potatoes, thinly sliced potatoes. So I've got out 3. We'll see if that will be 4 cups full. You need an onion, some butter, some mushroom soup, salt and pepper, and 1/4 cup of milk, 1 1/4 cup of milk. So what we'll do, we will get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my potatoes peeled and sliced up, and they have to be really thin sliced. And then once I get that done, I'll put all the other stuff together, because after that it goes pretty quick. So let's get busy. Okay, I'm going to peel my potatoes. Some people like to, they have a potato peeler and they just scrape off the skin, which is fine. These are just regular baking potatoes. Make sure you get all the bad spots out of them. And I'm going to go ahead and peel up these 3 potatoes right quick. And the secret to peeling potatoes without a potato peeler is just make sure your knife is sharp. And it just slides right on through there. The last one I'm going to do. And if I don't have 4 cups of thinly sliced potatoes when I get through slicing these up, I will just add another potato. Some people to use just little potatoes. And do this, ever what you prefer. There's our 4 potatoes. 3 potatoes, I'm sorry, I can't even count today, it looks like. I'm just going to rinse them off to make sure that they are nice and clean. I have this handy dandy foodie slicer. And it is just so easy to set it and just give them a slice. I know some people say, aren't you scared you're going to cut your hand? As many times as I have done this, I have never cut my hand, nipped my hand, or anything. You just have to look what you're doing. I think it might take 1 more potato. There we go. Let's just measure out what we've got. And as always, I always forget this handy dandy thing that Tom has, that you can just scoot everything right up in that. Now it did say 4 cups. So I would put 1 more potato in there. Then after I get the other potato sliced up, I am going to put it in cold water until I get everything else done. And that's only because it'll keep the potatoes from turning dark and it'll keep them crispy. So let's just get the other potato cut up. Get them all in this water. There we go. Now I'm going to get all my ingredients ready before I even start. The next thing I need is 1/3 cup of finely chopped onions. So we're going to get 1/3 cup chopped up right quick. I don't know why I always like to try to take that little centerpiece out. I really don't know. I guess it's okay just to eat that too. Especially considering that we are going to be cooking this just a little bit. If you watch other of my videos, you know that I do like to grate my onions when it says fine, but since I'm going to cook these, I'm just going to chop them up right quick. Let's see how many we've got here. And I'm such an onion person that I could stand just a little bit more. So let's just chop up just a little bit more. Okay, what we need to do now is rub the pork chops in salt and black pepper. And it says 1/4 teaspoon, but what I'm going to do is just put salt and pepper on them. And now we're going to melt 2 tablespoons full of butter, and we're just going to fry these very lightly just until they get just a little bit brown. So we'll get that started. Okay, we're going to brown 2 tablespoons full of butter. I'm sorry, we're going to melt 2 tablespoons full of butter in this frying pan. And then we're going to put the pork chops in here and brown very lightly. And when we get them browned a little bit, I'll put them in a paper plate. A plate with paper towels on it. I don't know. Let's get this melted just a little bit. And of course, if you want to make more than 4 pork chops, you'll just have to have 2 cookings. We're going to brown that just a little bit and turn it over and brown the other side. And in the meantime, I'm going to cut my oven on and let it be preheating to 350. Okay, I have the pork chops browning just a little. We're starting to cook. They haven't started to brown yet, but that was starting to brown just a little bit. Shouldn't take more than 2 or 3 minutes to brown this up right quick. And when I get done with this, I'm going to take my pork chops and put it on my plate with my paper towels. And then I'm going to add my onions into the pan and let them get a little bit brown. And then we'll add the mushroom soup, a can of mushroom soup. And when we get that stirred out a little bit, we'll add the 1 1/4 cup of milk. And while that is browning and coming together, we will lay our potatoes in a pan, and I'll show that. Boy, these are really some big pork chops. While my pork chops are cooking, I'm going to take some butter and I'm just going to rub over the inside of this dish. It actually calls for a 2-quart casserole dish, and my pork chops are so big they would not fit in here. So I have now got a 3-quart casserole dish, which will be just fine. Okay, I have got the butter all over that. And then while that's cooking, I'm going to drain my potatoes that I had in water just so they would stay fresh. And we're just going to take them and lay them in layers in the bottom of this casserole dish. And it did take 4 potatoes to make 4 cups of potatoes. Took 4 potatoes to make 4 cups of thinly sliced potatoes. And that's all done. We're ready for the next step. So we'll go over here and see how our pork chops are doing. They're browning right up. Let that side cook like this one here. This one's really, really good. Looks good. Just as soon as they get brown, we will put them on a paper towel and we'll add the onions and the other ingredients. I'll just let them cook just a little bit more. Then, like I say, then we will take the onion, the mushroom soup, and the milk. We're going to get the onions brown, and then we add the mushroom soup and the milk. And in the meantime, when we get that done, I'll take the pork chops and lay on the potatoes, pour this over the top of it, cover it up, and put it in the oven and bake it for 30 minutes. And then we'll check it, and after that, all you got to do is just make sure your potatoes are done. Just take a fork and stick in your potatoes and make sure your potatoes are done. And again, this is Around the House with Kay and Tom. Please subscribe to my channel. And I appreciate your comments. I sat down today for about an hour this morning, and I was trying to answer all the comments that I was getting. Just makes me nice to know that you like my videos enough to where you at least comment to me. And I can honestly say I'm getting to the place that I think I know some of you personally, which is so nice to me. We're not going to brown these very much more, because it just says lightly brown, and that's lightly brown from my standpoint. Okay, we're going to take that one up because that looks really, really good. I'll put it on the paper towel over here. Let this cook for half a second more. Does that look lightly brown to you? Okay. Now I've got my pork chops lightly browned. I'll cut my eye down just a little bit. I'm going to put the onions in here, and we're going to let them brown just a little. Have you ever walked into a restaurant and you smell onions? They always smell so good. Sometimes I think they put them on whether they're ready. Somebody has ordered them or not, just so they can have the smell in the restaurant. That or else chocolate chip cookies. Okay, we're getting these browned up. Hope everybody's having a good day today. It has finally quit raining for just a little bit here. We've been uptight for the last 2 days about the hurricane, but it did miss us, so we're thankful for that. Okay, I think the onions are brown. So I'm going to take a can of cream of mushroom soup. I'm going to pour a little bit of the milk in this can so I can get out the rest of this, and then I'll pour the milk in there. Still a little bit at the very bottom I didn't get out. Well, did you see me do that? I've got it all over the stove. And this is the rest of the 1 1/4 cup of milk. My sister said from Wilmington said to really wash this right here because it will thicken up in a heartbeat. So let's just make sure that we get it all blended in and let it cook just for a few seconds. Oh yes, that looks good. While that's cooking, we're going to take the pork chops and put over the potatoes. And you just lay your pork chops right on top of your potatoes. Then all I've got to do is pour the soup that I've made over here on top of that. Okay, and all you do is you pour this right over the potatoes and pork chops. When I had to change dishes, I thought, oh, I hope there's enough to even cover the pork chops. But it looks like it was. I just want to make sure that it's covered good as best I can. Like I say, if it had been in a smaller bowl, it probably would have looked better, but I couldn't get my pork chops in there. So we'll do it just like this. Now all I've got to do is I have to cover it with aluminum foil and let it bake for 30 minutes. going to put this in the oven, and I'm going to time it for 30 minutes. So we'll do the 30-minute deal. And we'll be back. And again, Around the House with Kay and Tom, please subscribe to my channel. And really appreciate it. Okay, my timer's just gone off. This has been cooking for 30 minutes. So let's just see what we have. Ooh, a little steaming. What we have. Oh, it smells good. Okay, let's try one of the potatoes. That's not quite done yet. Oh, they're almost though. So what we have to do now is put it in the oven uncovered for 30 minutes or until the potatoes get tender, which they said about 30 minutes. So we will put it back and we'll look at it again in 30 more minutes. Well, I'm going to open this door and let's just take a peek and see what this looks like. Oh yes, they're getting brown. I have 10 more minutes. Okay, let's see how the potatoes are. The potatoes are really, really soft. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back in there and let it cook for about 10 minutes more, simply because to make sure that the juice, the soup, is a little bit drier. But now that looks pretty good to me. It really does. So we're going to try it for about 10 more minutes just to make sure that the soup will be good, and they said it would dry up a little bit, so but a whole lot of it is thick. So I'm going to try it for 10 more minutes. Okay, I have got them out of the oven. They actually look real good. Let me show you what they look like. They're brown. And they're not real soupy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out one of the pork chops. And we're going to put some potatoes in this plate. And I'm going to cut into it. And we're just going to see what we've got. From my understanding, it thickens up just a little bit when it sets here. But you know what? This doesn't even look bad just like right now. So, let's slide this where I can get to my plate. And then we will cut into it. That is definitely done. I just want to see what it tastes like. I like trying new things. It needs a little bit more salt for my taste. And that's an easy remedy, is just sprinkle a little salt on it. The potatoes are really good. Flavored up real good. Okay, this is Kay's baked pork chops. Potatoes and baked pork chops. This is Around the House with Kay and Tom. I hope you subscribe to my channel. And I hope you will try this out. It really turned out real well. And I will see you next time. Thank you again. Bye.